Okay, good morning, viewers. This is Vishwanath from Winning Edge Talk Show. And on a Sunday morning, hope you're all doing good, taking good care of yourselves. And I know most of you are locked down inside your homes, especially in Karnataka, in Bangalore, where we are sitting, is a total lockdown on Sundays. And yes, this is the time to do these talk shows and share about the achievers and what they have achieved and what struggles they face and the adventures they have overcome and the challenges they overcome. Today, for this show, I have with me a long distance cyclist, and adventurous cyclic, you should call him. And talking about achievers, we see achievers all around us. We keep reading about achievers from the media, and we keep hearing about achievers. We see achievers all around us, and today we have one such achiever who is a cyclist. And talking about certain domains, recently I did a talk show with Shubham Vanmali. He's a long distance swimmer. He has swum about distances of, I don't know particularly about the distances, but he has swum about 14 hours in the water, English Channel and Gibraltar, Spain, USA, all those Manhattan coast and all these things. It was a great thing. But yes, and the guest of this show is me as a cyclist. And why we have not heard about these people very often is because they chose to take up these kind of profession or activities, what we can call. Uh, See, if Shubham had taken, would have preferred competitive swimming, he would have been a big name now, household name. Likewise, if Satish would have taken to competitive cycling, maybe everybody would have noticed him. But they opted for the other. So that's why we don't hear much about these people, but their achievement is no less. And they deserve all the applause and all the adulation, and it deserves all our, we need to speak about such people, and this is a great opportunity. Uh, yes. And to talk about Mr. Satish Venkat Narayana, he's from Bangalore and he's an employee of IBM. Okay, and one one big achievement that reminds me is that he has cycled all the way to the top of Ladakh mountains, which is at a height of 18,000 feet from sea level, and from there he has gone to places where no cyclist has gone, where there are no roads and they're all terrains and mud roads, if you have to call them, and temperatures were sub-zero. Imagine being there when the temperature is as low as minus 15 or minus 12, minus 6, that kind. And he has braved all that with great deeds of tenacity, courage, and thing. And there was an occasion when some group of cyclists, including Mr. Satish, took up this expedition, and they wanted to reach a certain point where never no one has explored. And we are proud that Satish is one of the two people who completed that race. It's a wonderful honor to have Satish with us. So let me welcome Mr. Satish Venkatnarayanan to the show. Welcome to the show, Mr. Satish. Nice having you.
Thanks, Mr. Vishwanath. Nice talking to you.
Wonderful.
So, how are you doing on this Sunday?
Oh, yes, it's a passion for me to talk to achievers like you. All my Sundays are occupied for talk shows. Either I do it in the morning at 11 o'clock or at 5 o'clock in the evening. And it's always a pleasure to know from you people uh, how you take up challenges and how you overcome all those things. And it's interesting to know about your journeys. All achievers have a very interesting story behind them, and how they took to their activity, what are the difficulties they faced, and what are the mental challenges they faced. And I, being a sports psychologist and a mind trainer and a counselor, I am more interested to know about the mental challenges you people face. Uh, okay, Mr. Satish, let us hear from you. How did your journey into cycling begin? And yeah, you can take over.
Okay, thank you. So, uh, from my childhood, like I've been more an outdoor person, and I used to play football, cricket, and badminton like any other kids. Okay, during the teens and pre-teens, and I started trekking when I actually completed my degree. Okay, and uh, some of us, like when I joined my first job, okay, we all got together and we started trekking this Karnataka, like Kumara Parvata and Mullayanagiri, okay, and some parts in Kerala and Tamil Nadu, and many such things in the Western Ghats. Okay, so we used to like backpack, and I still remember like we used to take rucksacks on rent, okay, and go because we didn't have enough money to buy the rucksacks. Okay, so slowly like that, like we started trekking this area, and then in 2005, when we were like almost 30 years, okay, so we thought like we should start something different. Okay. So we planned, this was started between three of us, like my friend Guru Prasad and Mahesh Patil. Okay, so we were uh, just sitting and having a leisurely weekend. Okay, when we thought, why not start cycling? Okay, something which we have not done. Okay, so we were sitting in a pub, and we decided, okay, let's do the uh, best thing, what the highest and the most toughest thing what we have heard of, which we can afford to do. Then we saw that okay, cycling from Manali to Leh and then to Kardungla, okay, which was the highest point at the time, highest motorable road. Okay, we thought let us try that first. Okay,
Okay.
so
May I interrupt you, Mr. Satish?
yeah,
You were
sure.
telling me that before taking that tedious journey up to the Manali top and Ladakh thing, how did you practice to cycling? How did you take to cycling first of all? And you were also talking about starting an cycling company or a group of that
Yeah,
sort. And maybe you can also tell us about that.
yeah, definitely. So when we decided we will do this, okay, uh, we were very enthusiastic, and we thought like we didn't know much about practice. Okay, so a local cycle Raja Market uh, in our opposite town hall. We went and bought like three cycles, okay, that had six gears. Okay, that was the best we knew about cycling then. So we were we started doing cycling, and the first time, like even 3 kilometers cycling was difficult because we have not done cycling for years. Okay, and then we started slowly increasing the distances, and within 1 month, like we went to KGF, like Kolar. Okay, so I was just engaged then, and I went there to meet my fiance on a cycle, okay, and with my friends.
Very interesting.
So we did that, and next day we came back. Okay, and that is how we started practicing. Then one of my friends, like who is a trekker, like she lives near my house, Suma. Okay, so she told like, see, if you are going and cycling in those hilly ranges, you should at least do Nandi Hills once. Okay. That is, then it was only 1 week we had before we go to Manali. So we thought, okay, we will go to Nandi to cycle. Okay, and believe it or not, like when we cycled all the way from our house and then we started climbing Nandi, okay, then we realized like what uphill cycling actually was, how different it was from cycling on a flat terrain. Okay, we took like 3 or 4 breaks and reached Nandi. Okay, so that is when that was very good that we did that, and from then on, like uh, we once we went to Manali also, the first 2 days we got time to acclimatize, and we started climbing the nearby hill. okay, which gave us some good practice. And once we did this trip, Manali to Leh, and then Kardungla, we climbed Kardungla and came back. And then next year we did Spiti Valley, which is again in Himachal Pradesh and bordering Jammu Kashmir. Okay, then we we thought like why not like give this experience to more people, okay, and why not spread the cycling community within Bangalore. So we started something called Tandem Trials. Okay, group of us, 8 to 10 of us. We thought like, okay, like every weekend, let us take some people on a journey to cycling. Okay, so we started with Chikmagalur. Okay, we uh, like first in the first trip itself, we got around 30-35 people who registered. Okay, and we booked like two tempo travelers. Okay, and we built our own rack which could carry cycles on top of tempo traveler. Okay, and we went and we did a lot of recce's, okay, before this, so that we know like which route to take, and we called ourselves random trials, the road less taken. Okay, so our thing was like not go in any highways. Okay, and we prefer to go in unexplored roads. Okay, and which is very less in traffic. So we chalked out some routes like that, one in Kerala and a few in Karnataka, okay, and Coorg and all those things. And then we started doing this. Okay, and then we thought like, see, we are doing all these routes, okay, every weekend. Why not combine this, okay, and make a long route, okay, in the Western Ghats, okay, which people can enjoy for, let us say, like a 2 week trial. Okay, so our friend like who led this entire group, his name is Mahesh Patil. Okay, so we all he came up with a route, okay, which starts from Coorg, Madikeri, okay, and then goes to Sakleshpur and then Chikmagalur, okay, and then it goes to Kemangundi and then Muttodi, Balehonnur, okay, like that, and it reaches Sringeri, and from Sringeri we go to Hagumbe, okay, and then Mangalore we touch the shore and then come back to uh, Kollur, okay, and from there to Shumaga, and we ended in Jog Falls. Okay, that was the route. It was around 900 kilometers, 900-950 kilometers. Okay, and we did the recce there. Okay, and then we came up with the event called Great Malnad Challenge. Okay, so that is it's popularly known as GMC, Great Malnad Challenge, and that was uh, a 9 day challenge like route. It was not a race as such. We didn't get into any competitive racing or anything. Our main idea was to uh, have a adventurous trip, okay, and enjoy with our friends, okay, and have a good time seeing different places. Okay, so we opened that route as a yearly yearly route, like yearly challenge, where we take these 30 to 40 people, okay, and that increased in the second year like to 50 people. Okay, so we booked all the resorts and homestays well in advance, and we connected this also with a, literacy program. Okay, so in Malnad, like there is there are a lot of beliefs and superstitions. Okay, so we tied up with Mr. Swami from Karnataka Vijnana Parishad. Okay, so he gives talks and demonstrations on blind faith, okay, and what are the superstitions they follow. Okay, it's called rational thinking course. Okay, so we went to all the rural schools, okay, in our cycling route, and Mr. Swami and his team, okay, they exhibited, okay, what superstitions actually people believe in, and what is the science behind that. For example, like doing an arti with flame on your tongue, or standing on needles, okay, and many things like that. Okay, and also we conducted a quiz in all these schools, okay, and distributed prizes to them. Okay, that was the activity which we connected with our cycling tour also, so that the local people are also benefited by our excursion. Okay, so that is how this GMC, Great Malnad Challenge, started. And over the years, we felt like we were that needs a lot of preparation, and we didn't have time. Okay, so now a group called iCycle is running that. So they have been successfully doing it for the last 7 to 8 years.
A program that you have initiated. Congratulations
Yeah,
to you. It has grown big and encouraging many cycling enthusiasts and all those adventure-loving youngsters.
right.
Yes. Now, when you think about Ladakh and at the altitude of 18,000 feet high, it is 18,000 feet. I think I mentioned in kilometers. It was
Yeah.
18,000 feet high. Okay. Now, we always, what comes to our mind is are the challenges. And I want you to talk about the entire journey in brief. What were the challenges you faced in terms of the terrain, your endurance, and how the body feels, the how you were able to beat the weather, and I don't know, because you were out there, you know where best. What are the challenges you faced? How did you overcome them? And as a sports psychologist, I would like to ask you how what were the mental challenges also, and how you were able to overcome them. Please go
Yeah.
ahead.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, Vishwanath, I would say like everything is dependent on practice, okay, and knowing the conditions beforehand. Okay. And when I say practice, okay, for any trip like this, for where we go for 15 days, we start the practice like 6 months before, okay, because we have our day job, and we start cycling in our respective areas where we live in, okay, like three to 4 days a week. Okay, we start cycling like 20 to 25 kilometers per day. Okay, and we choose our hills and places like that. And then when it is like 3 months to the start date, okay, we go on start cycling like the hill areas like Nandi, and we also go to Uti, okay, where we have this uh, ghat, curves and ghat bends. Okay, we do that. Okay, we slowly start increasing the distances. Like we do Nandi 2 times, and then 3 times, and then 4 times continuously. Okay, and then we go to Uti, like do that once, do that twice. Okay, so that is how we get acclimatized to the uphills. Okay, and meanwhile we also do cross training like running, okay, and also core body exercises. Okay, so that is also very important for cycling. And coming to the conditions in Ladakh, okay, so we usually like spend at least 1 or sometimes 2 days after we land in the first
To get
uh,
acclimatized to the whole thing.
acclimatized
Yeah.
to the altitude.
Mm,
And
mm,
we also take our cycles most of the
mm,
times from
mm,
here. Okay, so we dismantle the cycles, package it
mm,
in a box, and we carry in the
mm,
flight. And once we land there, we take out them, assemble them, and we start practicing in and around those areas. Okay, 1 or 2 days we will do that.
mm,
Then we will start cycling.
mm,
Okay, and so coming to the harsh conditions, okay, so yeah, like the first time, like it was very harsh, okay, and For the first time when we went there, it was all new to us, like cycling from Manali to Leh. Okay. We have a backup usually, okay, which is something like a Tata Sumo or a van which comes behind, okay, with our luggage. And in some tours, like we don't use that. We go like self-supported, okay, with our own. We carry everything on the cycles and we go. Okay. So yeah, mental toughness is the first thing. Okay, mental toughness and practice. So as you say in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says "Abhyasena kaunteya," like that. Practice, practice, practice. We always insist on that. Okay, and gradually increase the speed of cycling and the distances. So one thing, Vishwanath, like which we as our group especially, which is led as I told by Mahesh Patil, okay, we are close friends from more than 20 years. Okay? And every evening, like after cycling, we have a very good time. Okay, we pitch tents and uh, we like go on like singing and dancing and talking, joking against each other. Okay, so that's the real fun part what we have. Okay, and this will of course be coupled with some drinks. Okay, and that is how I like we cherish every day, the everyday success.
Okay. Were there times when you came across the unexpected, maybe the loss of oxygen and too much of fatigue and tiredness and loss of energy and
Yeah,
something that you had never faced before during your hilly trek, hilly cycling and other things?
correct.
Were there such occasions?
Yeah, most of the times we are faced something like this with something like this. Example, I can tell you the one where we went this Marsimikla, okay, that is 500 feet more than Arunla. So there, like when we were on the way, there were flash floods. Okay, so we had to cross one particular town, okay, where there were flash floods and we couldn't cross, and we were stuck behind that. And this is an incident like I would want to share with you. Like one of the captains, the GREF captains. So he went his with his squad to actually uh, clean that flats and make way for the natives to come from that side to this. While doing that, like he put a ladder across the fast stream which was flowing. Okay? He was trying to get people from the other side. He slipped and he just fell in and he was washed away literally in front of our eyes. Okay? So those types of incidents, like
So he was
uh,
gone forever. Was he recovered? And
for 2 days there was search operation, but he couldn't be, his body couldn't be found.
oh,
Okay,
okay,
so
I'm
later
sorry.
we learned that he was deceased. Okay,
Mm,
so great respect for our armed forces and border road organizations, okay, who risk their life like this to make roads, okay, for in these
yeah,
regions, okay, and also they take care of the natives there. So it's a great thing what to do. So like
yeah,
this, like flash floods, and when we went to Sikkim once, like suddenly there was again a lot of rain, cloud bursts, and flooding, and we some of the bridges were collapsed, and we had to take a detour, okay, and go in some other direction, okay, and many of the times like we would have gone with a route map, okay, which we found on Google, but actually those will be restricted areas, okay, because we are in border, so we will have to talk to the armed forces, and many times like we waited a day camping that we could get the permission from the brigadier or the commander of that area. Okay, and they are all very helpful people and they appreciate adventure. So some of them, like they even came along their jeep. for some kilometers, and they gave us fruits and things like
Oh,
that.
that's very encouraging. Having gone that far, if you are turned down or if you are stopped for interrogation and other things, it becomes very discouraging and frustrating. And
Exactly.
you'll be very disappointed. Yeah, yeah, this is really interesting. Please go ahead. Go ahead.
So we remember one particular trip in uh, Sikkim or Arunachal, I don't remember. It's one of the passes where we had to go, and
The Nathula Pass you're talking about?
not Natula Pass. It was, I think, Boomla or some pass like that. I
Mm.
don't remember the exact name. So that was bordering China, and Chinese. If we had planned to stay in one particular point in that in the night. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so if we stay in the night, we'll have to pitch tents. Okay,
Mm.
so if we pitch tents, the Chinese on the other
Mm.
side know that okay, there are some extra tents which have come up, and that will
Mm.
be a
Mm.
problem.
Mm. Mm.
So the armed forces, like our army, didn't
Mm.
told in no
Mm.
way
Mm.
they would be there in the
Mm.
night.
Mm. Mm.
That's why
Mm.
we put
Mm.
our cycles there. We
Mm.
came back to a previous night's point. We
Mm.
stayed there, and in the
Mm.
morning we cycled. We walked back to that point where we
Mm.
had put the cycles and took
Mm.
the cycles and reached that pass and came back. Okay,
Oh,
so we
wonderful.
didn't
I
want
hope
to.
the Chinese soldiers didn't spot you over there.
Yeah, if we had pitched tents, they would have definitely spotted. That's why our army told, okay, no way you will pitch tents here. You go back
Mm.
to your last point, and next
Mm.
day you come from the last point to this point, pick up your
Mm.
cycle, go reach the top, and come
Mm.
back. And that is
Mm.
what we did. So even they understand
Okay.
our army. Okay, they
Mm.
encourage actually all these things.
Okay. Mm. Mm.
And most of these places, like the roads, they do it
Mm.
every year. Okay, the
Yeah.
roads are in some
The
places
Border
there are
Roads Organization, the BRO. Mm.
correct. And landslides will be there, okay, most of the times. And we'll have to wait sometimes for the landslides to get cleared by the BRO, okay, and or they will suggest us alternate routes to go there, okay. So yeah, these are the challenges. This almost in every trip we find something like this.
Wow. After discussing about all these things in Ladakh, Leh, and all these things, don't you think the what the Indian Army has done recently to defend our territories on the Ladakh border is very significant?
It's very commendable job what they are doing. Okay, we
Mm.
can't imagine staying and being active in those places for a
Mm.
long time. Okay, we
Yeah.
even though we have cycled there, we'll always think of okay moving down as soon as possible.
Yes. Yes.
For them to stay there and fight there, okay, and to be active, it's exhilarating. It's too
A
much. We cannot.
superhuman effort. Yeah. Yeah. Fantastic. And what was the kind of cooperation you received from the locals? You already mentioned about the armed forces who are stationed there. I think what was the kind of support you got from the locals? Do they encourage adversaries like you, and how
Correct.
cooperative they were? And wherein there is there were occasions where they tried to make use of the situation because you were strangers there and mislead you. Were there things like that?
No place in India we find such a thing. Okay, they are all very cooperative. Okay, and they really appreciate all the adventure activities. Okay, see in some places where it's close to the town, they all understand this. They all understand cycling. This is an adventure activity, and people from other places come here and do it. But in many places, in far remote places, they just wonder why this guy is cycling. Okay, and he could have come in a car. Okay, they are not able to relate to that. But in no places we came up with any under any circumstance where people try to take advantage or anything. I don't think any
Very
place
nice.
in India we find
Yeah,
anything like
this is very encouraging to the groups or adventurers who want to go next. so that they'll be encouraged to take up such adventures.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Oh,
And in many
wonderful.
places, like we even stayed with them in their houses since we didn't find like a place to stay. In some places, there were no hotels or anything. Okay, so we could see only some thatched houses. We went and requested them, like, can you give us some space for today? They were more than obliging, and even give us food. They're all very accommodative and very cooperative.
And what I have heard is that to take up such adventurous tours, it involves a lot of challenges where your endurance will be tested, your muscular strength will be tested, your um, what do you call? I think the whole body and mind will be tested. And people normally say that you'll keep losing energy, you'll run out of carbohydrates, and it's very important to consume non-vegetarian food to withstand those low temperatures, and for the muscles to have the proteins to be able to climb. So when I first spoke to you, you mentioned that you are a vegetarian, and you are one of the two people you reached the place where others couldn't. And being a vegetarian, you maintained that you never consume non-vegetarian food. You consumed all other vegetarian stuff which gave you enough proteins. Can you talk more about that? Because people always have that notion that to be able to be survive in cold conditions, you need to have a lot of non-vegetarian stuff that gives you a lot of heat and energy. And there's a lot of misconceptions surrounding this. Can you make this clear? How it was a great achievement for you to accomplish these feats, having vegetarian food. So, can you throw more light on this?
Yeah, definitely. See, I used to consume non-vegetarian till a decade ago, like maybe like till 2010 or something. After that, like I gave up non-vegetarian, and many of these Ladakh trips, what the Marsimikla, what I've done that as a vegetarian. Okay.
Oh,
So what I do usually, in addition to the regular practice and core exercises, okay, uh, I also start this kind of diet few days before we leave. Okay, and I do eat egg. Okay, that is one thing which gives some protein, egg whites. Yeah, and we also eat rajma and greens, lot of greens. Okay, like that. With that, I'm actually able to sustain. Okay, I don't do anything else, and I also like consume this protein X. Sorry, not protein X. This Streptin biscuits. Okay, which is a source of protein.
it's basically a protein biscuit. Yeah. Mm.
Protein biscuit. Yeah, yeah. I do that, and so Vishwanath, like more of this, like after a point, it becomes more like a mental thing rather
Mm.
than a physical
Mm.
thing. Okay,
Mm. Oh, that's
so
very
once
interesting.
I,
That is my domain. That is my domain. It interests me. It excites me. Yeah.
yeah,
Go ahead. Go ahead. Interesting. Okay.
so many of the times we have I and many of them will agree to me. We think that, okay, why am I doing this? So why don't I give up now? Okay, that is when like your mind should be like strong. Okay, and you should start like, okay, what I usually do is take the next uh, immediate challenge or immediate destination before the final one. Okay, let me reach there. Okay, and then we will again repeat that. Okay, so split the entire journey into bits and pieces and conquer it,
Yes.
like one
Yes.
pedal at a time. I would say, like, okay, let me go to that end, let me cover the next 2 kilometers. Okay, let me slow down if I need. Okay, so that, like that, we push our own body and mind and do this. And it's on the coming back to the nutrition. Okay, we usually have porridge also. Okay, which is also a good source of nutrition. porridge and potatoes, boiled potatoes, okay, and vegetables, lots of vegetables, fruits, okay. Yeah, basically that's it. And everywhere in on northeast or North India, you will get dal roti and rice. Okay, so we'll manage with that.
Dal has proteins, obviously.
Dal has proteins. Yeah, we eat a lot of dal also.
Mm. Yeah, thank you, Satish. That's very encouraging coming from you to all those vegetarians who want to try out these expeditions.
Yes.
Okay, then were there times, when you were under a lot of fatigue and your body was asking you to stop and but you were saying that but you how did you overcome these challenges? Um, when your body was asking you to stop and you said it is, then the mind will take you further, because we say no, it's you hit a wall. Beyond that, you say the body says I can't, and that is felt in the mind only all the time. The mind always first feels that it's enough, because the pain is felt in the body and the fatigue is felt all around in your chest and everywhere, and it's then again it's the same mind that makes up its own mind again, that no, I will finish that, I can finish. The motivation coming from inside and the determination coming. And
So
there were the times when you ran into such blind walls and you were able to overcome that.
yeah, definitely. Yeah, yeah, I have done that like at least like 2 times. Okay, one during my first trip from Manali to Leh. Okay, that was our first uphill cycling trip. So there again, at one point, like we were three of us, four of us actually, and all the other three were at least like 5 or 6 kilometers ahead. Okay, I could see them somewhere in a binocular, okay, not from the naked eyes. So I had a cramp. Okay, I had a cramp in my leg, and I was not able to move. Okay, it was very painful, and suddenly it started snowing also. Okay, and
Uh,
nobody was there. Okay, to for me to help, and I only had like a small half bottle of water. Okay, so what I did is like I that is when, like I said, like the mind kicks over. I rested for some time, okay, and took some did some deep breathing exercises, okay, and stretched every part of my body, okay, and then I said like, okay, I have done like 60 kilometers today and I have enough time, okay, even if it is slow, I don't mind, let me go, okay, and slowly I started moving, okay, and then reached the point where the others were there,
Fantastic,
and from there
fantastic,
we went. And
fantastic,
similar
fantastic.
thing happened like when we were cycling this Marsimikla. Okay, that is one point. Like only ours was the first group to cycle there. I don't know if any group has done that. I wish a lot of people see that. It's a very good route and it's a very treacherous. Okay, it's like a no man's land there. Okay, around 20 kilometers. The last 20 kilometers, you won't see even nothing vegetation there. Okay, there is no electric poles or nothing. Okay, so in that stage, like that is the where I told like only two of us reached to the top. Okay, so my friend Mahesh, like who is always ahead and who has very good fitness, like he was ahead, and me and another guy were back. Okay, and we there was just a stone where we both rested our back against, okay, because we needed a break, and then we saw like a group of hawks and eagles started coming around, okay, so they saw us motionless for like 5 to 10 minutes, okay,
Oh,
and they started coming
so
around
if
us.
they thought you were corpses,
Okay,
and you
so
will
then we
become
thought like this is
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
correct.
Mm, mm.
It was very, we thought, okay, it's dangerous, we need to start moving, okay. So
Okay.
my friend he couldn't take anymore, like he went back, okay. That is when I thought, okay, let me try one more kilometer. Okay, and I dragged and slowly pedaled. Okay, then I could see the peak. It was just like around 2 kilometers to reach the peak, to reach the pass. Okay, so then slowly I took for the 2 kilometers. I actually took 40 minutes. Okay, to cycle. Slowly I went and reached where my other friend was waiting for me. Okay, so things like that, like you'll have to be patient at any moment. Like you should be taking reloading your energy with carbs or anything like that. Like we use a lot of carb drinks. Okay, so you should at any point you should never get cramped, or you should never feel very thirsty. Okay, so you should be taking those doses of nutrition every now and then. Okay, so that at least like your body is in a minimum state to move.
Very, very interesting. Very, very. It's giving me shivers. No. Sometimes all of you can't travel together for different reasons. Sometimes you're left alone, like you said.
Right.
So maybe there are occasions that some of you have already reached at a higher point, and you don't see your colleagues or your teammates coming behind you. How does it feel? And if you don't see them for a long time, what are the thoughts that cross your mind, and how do you feel? How do you make sure that all of you can come together at certain point? And what if somebody doesn't reach, if something has happened to him? And what plan you have got, the how what plan have you got to meet such situations, where if somebody has maybe collapsed because of lack of too much of fatigue and lack of energy, or no, how do you tackle such things, if at all if they happen, because you're already mentally prepared before you're taking these journeys. If something happens like this, what you
Yeah,
should be mentally prepared. Not that we are
exactly.
optimistic or pessimistic, but we need to be prepared. Please go ahead.
Correct, correct. Yeah. So one thing here, like I am rather a slow cycler, so slow cyclist. I usually lag and I will be behind. Okay. So many of these situations where you told, okay, you go first and wait for others. I I have not faced that, but to answer your question, I will tell you. Uh, See, usually when we have somebody doing it for the first time in our group, okay, we make sure that one of us, like who has done that before, means who have experience in cycling, we be with them. We don't let them alone. Okay, we be with them and we make sure like somebody is coming with them. Okay, and many times it has happened like this, where we have reached top and some people have not yet come, and in these places we don't have mobile network. Okay, and we don't have any connectivity. So what we do is sometimes like one of us goes back and sees like for few kilometers if somebody is requires something. Okay, and we always try to make sure like at least like we are going in couple, like two people. Okay, two people each. Like, let us say
In
if
pair.
we are
In
nine,
pairs.
in pairs, yeah, in pairs, so that see in many places this having a flat tire is common. Okay, and so if we have a flat tire, okay, we have a spare tube usually which we replace, but in those heights and in those places where it will be snowing and freezing, even changing a tube is little difficult. Okay,
Oh goodness. Okay.
so we usually travel in pairs so that one person can help another. Okay, and if they lag anywhere, one of us, at least one of them, like if is totally fatigued or anything, we reach the nearest house or any shop there. Okay, rest for some time and replenish. Okay, and then we start again. Okay, and we always make sure the plan which we make is the so that like we reach the place usually by 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock in the evening. Okay, because it gets dark there very soon. Okay, so we have some buffer time also. Okay, so that when if somebody is lagging, okay, they can come.
What time do you start normally when you are on the hill?
We usually start at 5:30 or 6. Okay,
It will
if
already be day already by that time. The sun
correct,
comes up at about 3:30, 4 o'clock, that kind.
yeah.
Hmm. Hmm. The sun
Uh, we,
rises. Okay.
we remember like one day, especially, there is this point called Gurdangmor Lake in Sikkim. Okay,
Hmm.
that is uh, it's at a height of 17,000 feet. Okay, so we were behind. We were like 3,000 or 4,000 feet below that in the previous day. Okay, and we had to climb that the next day, and it was the most challenging part of the trip. Okay, so we thought like we will get up as soon as possible. Okay, and we were waiting from 3 o'clock in the morning when for the first ray of sun. Okay, because the natives told us that you must not stay there mm, beyond 12 p.m. because it gets too windy, and the stones will be like flying. Okay, and you may get stuck in that. Okay, so
Sandstorm, you mean? The sandstorm?
something like that. Now we didn't face that. In fact, like we came back soon. Okay, so they were like on that particular day, like 9 people again started, and only one of them could complete, and that was my friend Mahesh Patil. Okay, even I gave up when it was like 4 to 5 kilometers. Okay, I couldn't take it anymore because there was no road at all. Okay, it was all full of stones and
Okay.
too tough.
Okay, Mr. Satish. Coming to the next point, I've spoken to a lot of distance runners. They usually say that when we have to run for long distances, we never think of the end point, the target, or we don't never think about how far we have traveled and so much more to travel. We never think about that. We are always focusing on that one step at a time. Okay. Now, that one always focusing on one step at a time takes them to a certain think state of mind which we call as runner's high. Where after that they say no, we are almost something takes over us and we keep on doing it. So we that once they cross that threshold, that wall, once they cross that wall, then after that it's very easy. That's what they say in long distance running. It's only the initial distance that's very difficult. After that, something takes over, and we call that as the runner's high, the pleasure they feel in the brain, and that will also help them to overcome pain, what they feel in their body. And that's one point. And when I climbed the Kudremukh for the first time, I felt the same thing. People kept showing at the peak. The peak it was so far away. I was always wondering, can I do it? Then I remembered this. So I never looked at the peak after that. I kept on keeping one step at a time. I kept on. Then finally I was able to make it. And that happened only 2 years ago. And a lot of people made it. It's the highest peak in Karnataka. I know you know that very well. Highest peak. Then I could make it. Then coming to your situation, do the cyclists adopt the same strategy, like one pedal at a time? And do you adopt the similar strategy? Does it help you that way?
Yes, certainly, certainly. That's the same thing. In the same thing works in cycling also. Okay, if
Mm,
it is, let us say, 100 or 120 kilometers, whatever kilometers it is, okay, we don't do at a stretch. Okay,
mm,
and we are clear that we are not worried about racing here. Okay, this is more of a journey rather than the destination, as someone has said. Okay,
mm.
split this route like whatever into small small
Chunks.
fragments, chunks,
Mm,
and see, it's more like a we enjoy the journey. Okay, of
yeah.
course we enjoy being at the destination. Okay,
Mm,
so if we find a good place where it's good for photography. Okay, we
yeah.
have one very good photographer also with us, like who comes with all SLR camera and the camera here. Okay,
Mm,
GoPro camera. Yeah, so we stop and we have a little drink, energy
Mm,
drink. We take some photos and talk to the locals there. Okay, and we
mm.
take that type of a thing will actually help you like to get a break as well as like
Great.
keep the
Okay.
journey interesting.
Not to be too focused about the destination. So
Exactly.
it keeps your mind away from the challenges that you're going to face, isn't it? Okay,
Yeah.
very interesting.
In these
Now
places you
coming to
find
photography, yeah. Go ahead, go ahead.
in these places you find like very good things like some monasteries there if you like walk
Mm,
half kilometer. So we
mm.
put our cycles, walk half a kilometer and visit that monastery and come back.
Great.
And if there may be something local they are making, okay, we can buy that. Okay, so we'll try to keep mix
Yeah.
that with our trip so that it will be more interesting.
Yes, yes. Now you are talking about photography. Now, what we people who never been to Ladakh, what we say that that's the most beautiful place, maybe on the earth. Maybe when it comes to India, that's the most scenic place. Now, when we are doing a particular activity, when you are focused on a particular journey and a destination, sometimes consciously we are always conscious about that. Do you
Correct.
stop to enjoy the scenery and the beauty of the nature? And you said already mentioned photography. Your mind? Do you still enjoy the what you see around and not only focus on what you have task you have ahead?
Yeah, that is a delicate balance actually. We'll have to do that because you get carried away by when once you get the rhythm in the cycling. Okay, your body you can feel that once you got the rhythm, your body is heated up. Okay, and you don't want to stop. Okay,
Mhm.
you see a very beautiful scenery there and you must take that photo. Okay, that is when you want to take a call. Okay, there are some people in our group who actually like don't want to see anything. Okay, they are very focused and the destination is that. But
Mm.
I am one of the people like who always, like as I say, I lag behind. I see like all the sceneries, try to take photos and speak to the people. Okay, so yeah, we do that. We take
So
a
that
lot of.
helps to take away the stress and keeps you relaxed and in a good mood to take up the challenges ahead.
Exactly, yeah, it does, and especially when I said like when you are paired on your three or four people are doing it together. Okay, then there is lot more things to do and share. Okay, cycling alone is very difficult. Okay,
Very,
very difficult. Even if you are with a few people and but you are on your own
very,
in the
very.
beginning in the front. Cycling alone is very difficult and very strenuous to both to your mind especially. So we do it in groups. We try to be as close as at least like as I said, like we'll be in pairs. Okay,
Mm.
and this photography and the getting to know the local culture. Okay, that definitely helps in
Oh,
this.
great, great. Now that you have faced such big, challenges, adversities, and thing, how has this helped you in your normal life? Because as normal, common people, we keep facing challenges in our day-to-day life with ourselves and with our families. And how has this test that you have passed so successfully helped you in your normal life in your day-to-day activities?
Yeah, a lot of things you can take away actually from this type of cycling. What we do.
Mm,
One, it gives us the importance of practice.
mm,
Okay, without
mm,
practice and with practice, we can know the difference. Okay, it
mm.
is very visible. Okay, the same thing you can apply in your day-to-day life or whatever you do in your work scenario also. If you want to learn anything or excel in something, you should practice. You should be prepared well. Okay, that is one takeaway.
Yeah,
And plan well. Okay, the
yeah.
better you plan, okay, the good plan is like half done. So we go into a lot of planning into this trip. Okay, planning is one thing which we can have as it is. The third one is accept failures. Okay, accepting the failures. Okay, many times as I said, like one of the things I couldn't do it. Okay, though I wanted to, that Gurudang more like I couldn't do it. Fine, we go next time and we do it again. Okay,
mm, mm.
accepting the failures and knowing your limits also, like where to stop. Okay, and every person's like body and mind is unique. Okay, we must not see others and say like, okay, he is doing, even I can go do. Okay, there is a good way to be optimistic, but it's not like he may have practiced for years, but you have not practiced for years and you have not planned as well. So so uh, like it, with not comparing yourself to others, accepting failure, planning and practice, all these are things which we can
Very good.
help in
Now,
the
coming
daily.
to your normal life, maybe suddenly you may be faced with a huge challenge, a mountain-like challenge. Are those times when you are told that, I have faced bigger challenges than these, when I was on the top, there was no guarantee that I will come back. Anything can happen at that time, at that place, and anything can happen. It was a close to death situation. Any moment, tragedy can strike you.
Right.
Does that motivate you, encourage you, and gives you enough confidence in a normal life that I have faced bigger challenges and this is nothing. I can face this.
Yeah.
Have you ever felt that way?
Yeah, definitely. The same thing what you said, Vishwanath, like even in our day to day, like we know like what is the final challenge. Okay, we sometimes see like, okay, that is huge and we can't imagine achieving it. But again, like the cycling or running, we again split here into fragments. Okay, we split here into chunks and go on like working and doing parts, stepping the climbing the steps one by one and finally reach there.
Mm, mm,
So that definitely helps. Like, okay, I've done so many things and I've done so many unimaginable things. Okay, why can't I do this one? Yeah,
Yeah, for
definitely.
cycling, I think definitely when you have to climb in those altitudes, the lung health or chest health, whatever you call, is very important. How do you keep your lungs healthy during normal time? Do you do deep breathing, things like that? And how about the endurance part? You do have to do a lot of running and core muscle training, as you already said. And do you need to continue this on a daily basis so that maybe even the next year you take up a very tough expedition, all these trains will help you.
Yes, definitely. Like running and running definitely complements cycling a lot. Okay,
Mm,
so
mm,
the more you run, the better you can cycle. Okay, and
mm,
the more
mm,
you cycle, the better you can run also. Okay,
mm,
so
mm,
cross
mm,
trainings will help a lot.
mm,
And
mm,
I have found after I started running
mm,
with my team, which is Jayanagar Jaguars. Okay,
mm,
so we have a very good coach, okay, who actually taught me like what is the importance of core muscle training, okay, and how it helps. Okay, so
mm,
that has
mm.
definitely improved my cycling
Thank you. Thank you.
cycling stamina
Thank you.
also.
Thank you.
And for we actually, as I told you, like 6 months before we start the practicing, that is when like we increase our distances, climb more hills. So that is how we practice pranayam and other breathing exercises. I don't strictly do it, to be frank, but there are few people in our group, cycling group, who do that, and definitely that also benefits.
In fact, running itself will expand your chest and the CO2 max, the oxygen consumption capacity will increase, and your
Yes.
areas will be healthy. And all those benefits you can always derive from long distance running. So
Definitely.
thank you, Mr. Satish. We already spoken close to an hour, and it was really interesting speaking to you. Um, I really compliment you for all that you have achieved. And now, before we end, I have to ask this question: what next? What a bigger challenge you have set for yourself? Or
Yeah.
is it enough? Or because no, it's like this, we always say why we are doing this, but man is like that. He's always after challenges. One
Correct.
challenge will always be led to the next bigger challenge. Man is always challenging himself to get the better of himself and to get the best out of himself. It's man's nature that way. We're not talking about other people. but definitely about the people who can challenge themselves and lift themselves up. And you are one of those kind. So, what is your next big step?
Yeah. This year we are not sure like what we can do because of the COVID
Pandemic. Yes.
situation. Yeah, it's
Okay.
very risky to venture into anything this year. But we do have some plans. Okay, for the next year. Okay, as I said, our leader of our group, Mahesh Patil. So he is the one who comes up with the routes and he chalks out the plan. Okay, and we want to do one particular play stretch of Mana Pass, okay, which is in Uttarakhand and again bordering China. Okay,
Wow.
so this is it. We start from Rishikesh, Haridwar, somewhere like that, and we go up Badrinath, and then we'll go to Mana Pass. Okay, that is one route we want to do, and the other thing is Lhasa to Kathmandu. Okay, that is another route which we want to do. Okay, and
It's in the
yeah,
hills of Himalayas. It's in the base of Himalayas, I think. The Lhasa Kathmandu thing, the base of
yeah,
Himalayas.
correct.
Hmm.
Lhasa is in Tibet. Okay, so and Kathmandu is of course in Nepal. So that is we need more time for that. That takes around more than 3 weeks. Okay, so we all being working professionals, we need to see like when we will
Take
get this
time for this.
to do that. Okay, so these two things are in our plan as of now. Let us see like how it shapes up.
Okay, thank you. I wish you all the best. I hope all your future plans and endeavors will become successful. And I don't know. I'm sure you're not doing this for fame or any name or such.
Uh,
Because you more than that, you are deriving the benefits out of it. That's it. It helps you in your life and your relationships and so many other benefits that you get.
yeah,
And
because
wish
of
you
this,
all the best.
because we have this target of doing this once in a year, we keep ourselves fit for at least 9 months. Okay,
Yeah,
so in
see that.
practicing for this, so that should take care of our fitness. Actually, that is one of the main things what we achieve from here.
And you keep away from all those bad habits that you should indulge when you are taken up these tasks, these
Right.
challenges. Yes, yes. Overall, it's a very, very beneficial for the man, for the human being.
You should
Fantastic.
join not sometime next time. You should
Oh,
join
why not?
us.
Why not? Yeah, 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 I'm looking forward to. And yes, I'm looking forward to keeping more interactions with you. And why not? Who knows? I'm open to that. Why not?
Definitely.
Great. It was really fun speaking to you. It was really, really interesting knowing about all those challenges that you have faced. And I hope that a lot of viewers who see this program will also be inspired that, when people have done it, we too can. And I keep looking, seeing a lot of cyclist groups away on the highways, with those cars, and on the top they have this boat-like structure where they keep the cycle, and there is a carrier fixed at the back of their vehicle, the SUV, where they put the cycles over there. And there are many such groups, if you will agree with me, who
Right.
frequently are onto this. And
Right.
I remember talking to our police commissioner, Bhaskar Rao. He is a very, very avid cyclist. He frequently indulges in cycling, and there are many such people. Wonderful. It's wonderful that many people, Indians, are taking to these adventure activities like cycling, long distance running, mountain climbing, and whatnot. So we are becoming more and more adventurous, and it's great. And all these such activities are growing in this country. And when talking about tourism and other things, I don't know why. If you can take a camera crew with you who can film the entire the journey, it will make a very good what do you call a video for the it will have a lot of commercial value also, and it makes very interesting. Here and there those people can talk to you, have your interviews, and expose the places, which pass you are in, at which height you are in, what do you see, which monastery you are going, all these things that will make a very interesting video shoot. It will have a lot of impact in the travel diaries that people take up. So we should have to consider that, take a good look at it, and maybe you can also find some sponsors who will come with you for those, who will sponsor such activities. Maybe
Yeah,
you can consider that next time.
yeah,
So thank you,
definitely.
Mr. Satish. Thank you for your time. Thank you for speaking to us. We at Winning Edge Consulting are really thankful to you. So hope all your endeavors successful, and I wish you all the best. Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much. Bye bye. Thank you, sir.